Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win. Welcome into Room 442 for another week. It's Friday, getting you set for the weekend, specifically in the Premier League. But let's not control the message. If we decide to go to the La Liga, Serie A, or Serie A, we'll do that. There's a focus on the Premier League. We'll get to our 442 picks.ca later in the show. Birdie's coming for us pretty hard right now. The gap is closing. Concerns me a little bit.
How bad was last weekend?
11 points I had.
I think I had 15, and it was my worst. I think I had one game more than you, and that somehow got me a few more points.
So you got 3 out of 7.
Did I get
out of 10, sorry.
Did you not get 3?
I got 2.
Oh yeah, then that
I
makes
got
sense.
2 right.
No, do you remember what I told you last Friday? This weekend is either going to be fantastic or horrendous, and it was the latter.
It was the latter, yeah. I mean, it was so unpredictable.
Yeah.
It wasn't that we're just idiots. I mean, we are, but that's not the reason why we struggled so badly. It was a crazy weekend, culminating, of course, in that crazy Spurs-Chelsea match on Monday. We'll also rank today's, this weekend's games as well, coming up today. Most watchable to least watchable. Some intriguing contests.
Oh, yeah.
So it should be a bit of fun. But to start with, we'll do this on Fridays, the big question. We'll each have a big question or two looking ahead to the weekend and what to expect, what to ask the footballing gods to provide. Let's start with yours, Sarah. What is your big question entering this weekend?
I think it has to be Spurs related. I'm looking at Spurs. I'm looking at Ange ball and this team and how they will fend against Wolves. You know, Wolves kind of inconsistent team, I guess. You know, we've seen them play some decent football, but they're losing Pedro Neto, obviously, last weekend. They lost to Sheffield, but they still managed to, get some decent draws. Newcastle, that's a tough match. So I'm curious to see what Spurs are going to look like. Here's the update. Maddison and Mickey gone until mid-January. Romero suspended until the beginning of December. He's going to miss the Man City match in Aston Villa. 2 massive games. And, of course, Wolves. Udogie suspended as well. The one thing we've talked about on this podcast every week is if Spurs get injuries, they are not a deep squad. So I'm so interested to see who's Ange going to play. Is it Dyer time?
Is it Højbjerg at centre back?
Emerson Royale.
Watch out. Well, Pedro Porro could be out this weekend as well.
Yeah, I checked right before we started recording. I didn't see an update, but yeah, if no Porto either, their whole back line is done.
It's a huge question, right? Because we have asked just that all year. Yeah, it's been great. Maybe the story of the season so far in the Premier League, how Spurs are playing under Postecoglou, but what happens when the wheels fall off? Because every team at some point will see their wheels fall off. And how do they deal with adversity? How does Ange deal with adversity? He's so likable. He's so lovely. He's a good guy. That can change pretty quickly. Remember Jurgen Klopp once upon a time was seen as this lovely, cuddly fella in the league, brought great colour. He's shown his other side at times now. Is there another side to Ange? Are we going to find out? Or will they just keep on winning and playing great football?
They may. I mean, I think it's going to be frustrating for them. I think Ange has done really well so far. And he's very media trained as well. He knows what to say. And he seems like a really down-to-earth guy. He's very likable, right? But now it's the hard part. Now we're really going to see his true colors and the team's true colors, because now they are going to struggle. And it's always the worst part of football when you're down on, you're relying on players that are no longer there. Your starting 11 is completely shifted. And also, just a fun little fact, beginning of November this year, we now have no teams in the Premier League that are undefeated. So Arsenal 2004 Invincibles are still going to be them this year.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Well,
so that record's safe for a while.
We've seen it go until March, right? Where a team has been unbeaten until then. And so this year it ended quickly. But yeah, Spurs were the last team. And of course they lost to Chelsea. But I'm really curious how they're going to fend this weekend against Wolves. And I see potentially Wolves getting something out of this.
Yeah, I actually have them down as a draw.
I do too. Oh, that might be bad.
I know exactly.
Well last weekend.
We've got to put some draws in there to get the points, right? On 4-4-2 picks.
Yeah.
So, but I think there's definitely a chance because Wolves is a decent team.
Yeah.
Who's I think almost better than their record, even though they're kind of languishing that mid-table. They're going to be fine, I think, this season. But yeah, back to Spurs, and I mean, is if you have to go for a beer with one manager in the Premier League,
Has to be.
Big Ange, right?
Has to be.
Because for starters, he'd definitely pay for his round.
Oh,
I don't think
class.
all those managers would.
I mean, okay, wait, hold on. Are we completely dismissing Guardiola? I'd pick his brain about a few things, I'd say.
But I think he's so maniacal.
Yeah.
And manic. I don't know if he'd be a good drinking companion.
In terms of companionship, yeah, Ange seems like I said, a down-to-earth guy.
He'd listen. He'd listen to us.
You could shoot the shit with him,
Yeah.
and it would just be so, like, you know, it would feel normal. Whereas I think with Pep, you'd be a little bit like...
starstruck, maybe?
Yeah, starstruck and probably just like, am I doing something wrong? What, like, you know?
Is he critiquing my conversational skills?
Yeah. He's
all
like,
the time.
Well, James, you could actually do this better.
Yes, it's hard. What Pep do you get? Because you're right. There are certain Peps that I would love to have a beer with.
Oh, yeah.
But there's the other Pep.
Yeah.
When things are going really well. When you know what? The pre-match Pep, I want to have a beer with.
Yeah.
Because the pre-match Pep loves everyone. We'll talk you up. James, you're the greatest interviewer ever. You know, you're world class. There's no one like you ever. Right?
You have the same imitation for Pep as you do Ellie.
Yeah, I do a little bit. And Ellie's from Azerbaijan.
So that makes sense.
I've got this kind of generic European accent.
Yeah.
It's horribly racist.
Yeah.
But that's what I can't help it. I'm sorry. But
Brilliant.
the pre-match Pep is so lovely and warm and enthusiastic and pumps your tires. Post-match Pep.
Scary.
Awful to have a beer with.
Oh, no, you wouldn't.
No.
No.
Because you're drinking that shit.
Yeah. He'd
What
just
is
be
that
doing
for?
shots. Like, he'd be like, I'm not into this. Like, I'm pissed.
It'd be a bottle
Yeah.
and a shot glass.
Yeah.
And just like downing
Yeah.
it, downing it, downing it.
You're just terrified.
Yeah. Whereas Big Ange, he's a pint man.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Crispy pint.
A nice crispy pint. And he's savouring that, you know. And
Yeah.
before or after the match, he's the guy to have a beer with.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It will turn, though, at some point. It has to, I think.
I know, and this is really like, we're really going to see. I mean, Wolves is this weekend, but then there's the international break, which I find doesn't do well
again?
for... Yeah, I know. It doesn't do well for anyone. Like, it's too much football for these guys. So you come back, they're going to take on Villa. That's not an easy game. And then they have Man City. And so that brings us to about a month. So this next month is going to be so telling. And you know what? I actually do hope Spurs kind of push through because they've been really good. And I've enjoyed watching them. And they're a likable team. As somebody who doesn't have a Premier League team, and I'm just here as a neutral fan, I've enjoyed watching them. I would like to see this team continue to do well. But these next 4 weeks are going to be very telling.
Well, just the way they down 2 men, how they
Yeah.
still attacked and still had that high line against Chelsea, which is suicidal.
Sweeper,
But
keeper,
it seemed to work.
Vicario.
Yeah. By the way, all the off-season signings from any club,
Yeah.
has anyone impressed more than Vicario?
Have we slept on Vicario?
I think so.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, he was brilliant. Yeah, great signing for sure. Really good.
He's number one in so many categories for goalkeepers so far this season.
Yeah.
He's smart.
Yeah.
He's brave. That shot off
Brave.
his face on Monday, right? Took him out for a few minutes, got back in there, of course. But he's been brilliant. But also the back line's been great as well. Mickey van der Ven's a huge loss for them. Like you mentioned, massive. And I didn't really buy into this guy when he came over. Yeah, he's really quick. Well, he's a centre back. Is that really that important? Turns out he's a very good defender as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting. They are the story. I think for me, the big question this weekend centers around Manchester United.
That is the next story.
It has to be, right? Is this Erik Ten Hag's final match in charge of Manchester United?
If they lose to Luton, has to be. At Old Trafford?
Gone.
No, but surely, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think we've said this, like, it's kind of been brewing lately. But if you lose to Luton at Old Trafford after the week you've had, after the season you've had, there's no way. But they keep backing him. They keep coming out and, talking to the media saying there's nowhere that Ten Hag is going. He's staying. Like, we're completely with him.
Well, it's difficult because they're in this whole ownership
Yeah.
shuffle right now. And do you fire a manager before the new ownership comes in? Bear in mind, it's a PLC, right? You got to appease the shareholders. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid for
Pardon me.
25%, which is apparently going to be the first step towards an overall takeover eventually. That's very close right now. I can see if that's, in the next week or two, and the results continue, then I can see Ten Hag being fired. But, I mean, listen, are we just giving... Is Luton kind of the whipping boy here for any team? Oh, well, you lose to Luton.
I think there's a few teams, though, if you would lose to. Like, I think Sheffield's up there. I think Burnley's up there. I think Nottingham Forest could be one of those teams as well. Like, I just think maybe one of the top 5 bottom One of the top 5.
Top 5 bottoms?
Yeah, there you go.
Bottom top 5s.
One of the bottom 5
The best
teams.
top 5s? Best bottom 5s. Very confused right now.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean,
I
exactly.
don't think it could.
The shite teams.
Yeah, basically. And also, it's just the fact that it's at Old Trafford, too. Coming off of that loss to Copenhagen midweek, like you are in the bottom of your UCL group. They have to win the next match against Galatasaray in Istanbul in 2 weeks, 3 weeks time. The international break is throwing me here, but like that, it's do or die there. It's just
they're dead last, right? In Group G, aren't they?
They're dead last. They're only a point behind Copenhagen and Gala. But the thing is if Gala wins, they don't have a hope. They're done. So it's just like you've kind of left your fate into one game now. I mean, it's been terrible. We know that. I don't need to tell you guys that. But I think it's just all of that, and now going to play a bottom team in the Prem at Old Trafford, like. I can't see him staying. And I'm kind of shocked he's still there. And it's not against him. I just don't think it's been a good match.
It's a poison chalice, though. We've been saying that for ages.
For sure
Last
it
year,
is.
there was a turnaround. There was a definite turnaround. But the DNA of that club is just wrong. It's broken at the moment.
It's so broken.
I mean, he's a good manager who, when he got hired, it was like, okay, wow. They beat out a number of good teams who wanted Erik Ten Hag as their manager. Who's going to replace Erik Ten Hag if they fire him in this group? Who wants that job right now?
Oh, that's the $1 million question.
I mean, there's good players there. Let's not kid ourselves. They're not going to be relegated.
Yeah.
But they should be, at the very least, fighting for top 4 football.
Yeah.
They should be fighting for trophies.
Yeah.
But there's no way this team's going to win anything this year. But I look at who's there. Just weird signings over the years. Weird signings. The Casemiro one, great last year, but there's a reason why Real Madrid sold him.
Yeah.
At that point in his career. He's been terrible this year. He's out until, well, at least Christmas. I like Scott McTominay, but I think he's just a victim of his own name.
He shouldn't be your most reliant player.
No.
That's when you know it's bad. If you're relying on Scott McTominay.
He's the most consistent player for them.
Yeah.
Right
also,
now.
I'd say, the one thing they did right, it seems to be Rasmus Højlund.
Yeah, maybe, but there's still potential tag there. Right?
For sure. It hasn't been determined yet, but I feel like he's the only player that has been trying, at least. Like, he looks like he's at least playing for the badge. He's really going for it. He's scoring at least. Like,
yeah, scored 2 goals against Copenhagen, right? And okay, maybe the corner's been turned now, but then that's lost in the collapse.
Yeah. No, of course. I just see like players like Bruno Fernandes, man, like Anthony. Well, can we talk about Marcus Rashford's foul?
Mm-hmm.
This is, to me, like, so obviously a red card. Like, it's blatant, it's direct, it's dangerous. But I'm thinking, what are you thinking? Like, he just also seems to be on a...
He's checked out.
Oh, he's
not happy.
Yeah, but sure, he's getting called up to England, naturally. Gareth Southgate, his best mate. Like, I mean, I'm just kind of
he
like...
plays well for England. Scored a lovely goal last time.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's a guy that needs to change the scenery. If there's anyone that needs to change the scenery, it's Marcus Rashford.
Maybe,
right now.
maybe you're right. That's actually a fair point, him going to England and kind of clearing his head a bit, playing good football. Who knows?
Or is he just an average player who's got moments of greatness?
Yeah.
But just really, a good player, but an average good player. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's not a superstar, he's a star. Because I think we built him up so much. He did look great earlier in his career, but maybe he needs to move somewhere.
Yeah.
To really show that. You can see a guy like him, he'll never go to Man City, but under another manager, a great manager, really elevating his game and becoming a better player, a Pep or a Klopp would make Marcus Rashford better. Mm-hmm. But he's not going to either of those clubs, unfortunately.
Yeah.
If I'm in Chelsea, I'd be going for a Marcus Rashford. Wouldn't you?
I don't know, man. With Chelsea, like... Maybe. I mean, I just can't, like, this team needs to still be organized a little bit more. I'm still not quite sure, like, what their starting 11 is. Who are they relying on?
No.
Are they going for more in January? Are they sending people out on loan? Like, I think it needs to be cleaned up a bit before I can assess that situation.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting weekend. But they are the two big questions, right?
Sure.
How will Spurs deal with the adversity? And is it Erik Ten Hag's last game? And I'm with you. If they do lose to Luton, that's probably it. And the way he talks, I'm not sure he'd be too upset by that. He's not really that kind of inspirational character. He seems pretty broken and pretty defeated at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him.
No, nor do I.
Yeah.
It's a gong show. All right, let's take a break, shall we? And then when we come back, we'll rank this weekend's Premier League games in order of least watchable to most watchable. Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win. All right, welcome back to Room 442. Time now to rank this weekend's Premier League games from least watchable to most watchable, Sarah. And actually pretty good games this weekend. Intriguing games. So take no offense, fans of certain teams, if you low down the order here. We don't really care, to be quite frank with you. But I have, and we'll start here, I have at number 10, the least watchable game is Brighton-Sheffield United.
Fine.
You're okay with that?
Sure.
Not even an argument. Okay.
No, do you know what? Like the 4 least watchable, I honestly could all be
Who else do you have
intertwined. I had Arsenal and Burnley because I think that I see like a 1-0 Arsenal win.
You always have the Gunners way down. You don't like them, do you?
No, I actually do like them. I think they're okay to watch, but I just think Burnley have been. I think actually this could be interesting because is Vincent Kompany going to get the boot? I don't know. They've been bad.
Yeah, well, the odds it still has. I think Paul Heckingbottom is still the favourite to be fired next.
Yeah,
Ten Hag's way up there. But yeah, Vincent Kompany at some point he has to change the way that team plays.
Yeah, they've just been really bad. So I just kind of expect like an Arsenal win, a 1-0. Like I just expect a kind of boring game is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Brighton and Sheffield. I mean, Brighton came off that win against Ajax. I'm curious to watch Ansu Fati because he's kind of been coming into his role more, scoring a couple goals for these guys. That might just be me with my Barcelona bias, but I am happy to put that game at 10.
Yeah,
instead.
I mean, I have them at 10 mainly because 17 players are out injured for this one between the two teams. 17.
Just a nightmare, isn't it?
Now, Brighton is a much deeper team than the Blades, and Brighton are going to win this game, even though they haven't been great recently. Winless in 5 in the league, in fact. So De Zerbi's going through this adversity we talk about for the first time maybe since getting there last year.
Sure.
Is he going to rebuild them? Maybe, but the Blades, we know what they're going to do, right? They've only got 1 win on the season. It was last week, mind you, at the death, 100th minute, wasn't it?
Yeah,
a penalty.
Wolves, get out of here.
But we know what they're going to do. They're not going to blow our brains out with brilliant football. So, yeah, that's why I have them at 10.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with that. They were at 8. So what's number 9 then for you?
Well, you give me number 9. I gave you 10.
Okay, I have West Ham and Nottingham.
Okay, that doesn't bother me.
What did you have?
I had
9?
Villa Fulham.
Yeah, that's all. They're all. See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like this, I'm gonna be so.
Well, let's go Hammers Forest. Paqueta is back for West Ham.
Yeah,
which brings some points their way because he is so much fun to watch.
He's so brilliant. Much fun to watch.
But they are struggling, 3 straight losses.
It's just not been great for them. Nottingham Forest.
See, you mentioned them in the first block. You kind of dismissed them, as being one of those teams. If you lose to them, watch out. I'm just kind of blinded by my infancy as a football fan in the 80s when they're big, right?
Yeah.
But I think they've got some attributes. But yeah, there isn't a hell of a lot of watchability there.
Like, I don't think they'll be relegated.
You don't know? No, probably not. I think they might just about survive.
Yeah, like what they did last year.
Well, right now they're 13th. Which actually, they're 13th. That surprises me, actually. 13 points.
Wait, where's West Ham?
West Ham are at 12th.
Yeah, so, okay, maybe
Point up. This is a massive game.
So we have made a terrible mistake.
Number 1.
Yeah.
No, I'm still down with that, regardless. I mean, okay,
That's
Christ,
fine.
They're fighting for 12th place.
Yeah.
That right there speaks for itself, I think.
This is a 1-1 for sure. This
okay.
Is a 2-2.
So 8th, I have Palace Everton.
Okay. I don't know why I ranked that so much higher than I did. Interesting.
Eze is back for Palace, which I like and really adds some. Everton obviously have turned the corner, I think. They're playing better. They're winning games now. They're rising up the table to 16th now and 11 points. But it just doesn't scream one to watch for me, this one. By the way, where the hell's Dele Alli?
I'm not quite sure.
It's her. He's injured.
Yeah.
But remember before the season, the documentary came out, the interview, and we're like, wow, good for him. I can't wait to see him play this year. I can't wait to see him play. And I still can't wait to see him play. He just hasn't played.
Do we know when his return is? Let's check that. Let's check that. Because I also think that will draw so much more attention to Everton. And if they're on this incline at the time and playing decent football and then they bring Dele Alli back, man, Everton's going to be one of the favorite teams.
Actually, so bear in mind it's Daily Mail. But Everton boss Sean Dyche hails Dele Alli his growing influence as a makeshift coach. So he's looking to relaunch his career. He's been suffering with a groin issue. No timeline on his return, but he's been working, I guess, with the coaching staff.
That's great.
It is,
really great.
It's not. He's good for Dele Alli.
But yeah, you do want to see him on the pitch. You want to see him get back in there.
Yeah.
Especially after all that hype. But as of right now, he's not there, and that's why Crystal Palace and Everton are.
Yeah, why they are what they are, right? Yeah, exactly. So 8th, are you okay with that? Or you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. All right, I had Aston Villa and Fulham in 7th, but I'd be happy enough to put Arsenal and Burnley there over that.
Well, I had Villa Fulham at 9th, right? And I had West Ham Forest at 7th. So we can't have Villa Fulham any higher than 7th, can we?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
You know
okay, well, they were my 7th. Oh, cheers. Okay, yeah.
So 7 for them. And again, Villa are brilliant. They lost last week, which one of the results that crushed me in 4-4-2 picks.
No one had Villa losing.
No one did.
No one, not one person had Villa losing on this earth. I feel confident saying that.
On this earth. I think you could be right there, actually.
I mean, also Fulham, though, credit to them. They probably should have won that game against United.
Yeah, they should have,
Bruno
absolutely.
Fernandes with a 97th or something minute penalty. Like, yeah, it's United and they've been shocking. But still for Fulham, that's, it shows a lot of persistence and strength. And, this Villa side, I mean, we know that Villa can lose. And we've seen the holes in this team. So I think this match could actually be a lot closer. Maybe.
Fulham, I think we mentioned it last week. They're the one team that I keep forgetting is in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I'm looking at their squad here. Like, who kind of stands out here? Raul Jimenez. No, sorry. Maybe 3 years ago. Willian, 4 years ago.
Crazy that Willian is still playing.
João Palhinha is a good player. And he, obviously, the fact that he is still there is surprising.
Yeah.
Right? Alex Iwobi, Andreas Pereira. Vinicius is kind of fun to watch at times. Harry Wilson. Bert Leno in goal. Kind of vanilla.
It's like a bunch of players that were like all pretty good a couple years ago, but also were never like superstars or great even a couple years ago. So now that it's
good professionals. Yeah.
I think like the most star-studded player on that team is Willian. So do what you want with that information, right?
Not for long though, because Luc de Fougerolles is going to be the star. Canadian boy called up.
You've learned how to pronounce his name, and I've heard you say it now a few times.
When I first saw it, I didn't even try and pronounce it.
No, you
but
did.
It actually isn't that
something.
Yeah, no, I butchered it on purpose though, I think. Why even try? But actually it isn't too difficult. But he was really good. Got his debut last week in the Cup. Mm-hmm. And he's been called up to Mauro Biello's Canada team for the Jamaica games coming up. So that's a guy I want to watch. But he hasn't played in the league yet. So it should be the number one
game for you then, maybe.
Maybe I should change that, eh? No. They're still number 7 for me. Villa 100% at home as well. They're going to win that game.
They have to win that game. Come on now.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now...
We're at 6 now?
Yeah, so what is it? Bournemouth, Newcastle, Arsenal, and Burnley?
I got Bournemouth, Newcastle as my 6th best.
They were number 6 for me as well.
Callum Wilson's doubtful for this one with a hamstring issue. He's been healthy this year, which has been really surprising. But he's scoring for fun. He's been great. But when I see Callum Wilson with a doubtful mark beside his name, I think, here we go. Is it about to be derailed for him?
Well, it seems to be that Newcastle are kind of going into this phase of all the football they're playing is catching up with them, right? We saw over the weekend Arsenal, obviously, that whole debacle that was. I mean, I don't think that was necessarily fair, but it happened, and they won that game.
It was fair.
I mean, I don't know. I think it could have gone either way in terms of who won that game, but that was a difficult match, right? We're talking about two of the best teams in the Prem. You lose to Dortmund. Mm-hmm. I mean, Dortmund were in need of a big win there, but I just am starting to see that high-flying Newcastle that was smashing teams with confidence looking a little shaky. And
look at all these red crosses beside the players' names for this weekend.
So, Isak being out has been miserable.
It's a big loss,
He's
now with
so
Wilson out now as well, potentially.
Who's scoring goals? Miguel Almiron.
Harvey Barnes out for a long time, of course. Sven Botman, that loss is big as well at the back. Jacob Murphy, did you see that last week? He's had that shoulder injury, and he literally popped it out of his shoulder, just running. He was just running. Pops out.
I can't with the
and he's holding it at that weird angle. Oh, just looked awful because Avil. Okay, what joint do you want to dislocate least? Because I think it's my shoulder.
No. It's
your
the
knee.
A knee. I think we both have knee problems, so maybe that's what it is.
I've got a shoulder problem. That's why.
See, no, I've had really bad knees my whole life, and I think there's just something so scary about like I think I use my knees more than my shoulders. Maybe that's what it is, but like I just feel like it is such a delicate joint. If you pull the
yeah, but what I don't like about the shoulder is that you can pop it back in, which I
Can
find
you pop
worse.
this back in?
Well, I don't know. That's the question. I don't think it's as commonplace to pop a knee back in as it is a shoulder.
Yeah, the shoulders just fly out. And they
Yeah.
just-
So I mean, I've separated my shoulder 6-7 times. Never dislocated it, but I know the pain. It's very unpleasant. But the thought of it being popped back in is worse than the actual initial
How
dislocation.
about the sound? Can you imagine? You're fully awake, right? You gotta just, all right, gotta go.
Breaks I can handle to a certain degree, but dislocations,
Hearing it is crazy.
God damn it. So yeah, it's interesting. So we should put it out to the audience. Which joint? What joint do you want to dislocate least?
Yeah, shoulder and knee. We'll poll it on Twitter.
Ankle can't be much fun. You don't put back in.
Can you imagine just holding your leg out and your foot's like over here, like?
When you pop a shoulder back in, they kind of yank on the arm.
Yeah, they kind of look.
And just because I've done it on my shoulder so many times, the pain.
But well,
I can't
I'm
imagine
sure it'd be the
anyone
same
pulling
with
on
the
it.
knee. They probably have to get two people, it's a longer
But isn't it more?
limb.
I think it's more surgical though. If you dislocate your knee, you're going to hospital to get that dealt with. I think not on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, I'd hope so. I think I'd
Whereas a
just
shoulder, they can do it if it's not. Well, it depends
So
on
is that what it
severity.
is for you? It's the fact that you would likely have to be awake and you'd have to feel it and experience.
Yeah.
Because that I can completely understand.
You knock me out, you do whatever you want to me. I don't care.
Like you heard
Whatever
it
you
here.
want.
You heard it here.
I'm available. I'm open for business. But
too
if I'm
easy.
awake, no.
Yeah, no, that I can back you on that. Oh, we'll still ask the audience, see what they say, see what they do to you when you're
Let's
asleep.
ask Ellie, producer Ellie. Which joint would you least rather have dislocated and pop back in? Shoulder. Yeah, rotator cuff. Yeah, AC joint.
Oh, I don't
Attaboy Ellie.
I don't know, guys. The
We'll ask
knees aren't
Birdie
for
on
me.
Monday what his favorite dislocation would be.
Perfect.
Or
Can't
least
wait.
favorite. We'll rank them. We'll do rankings.
Rank the dislocations.
All right.
back to it
Where
then.
were we? Was that number 6? Bournemouth, Newcastle, right?
Okay,
All
so
right.
now I am saying it has to be Arsenal and Burnley. Are
I've
you
got my
happy?
5. I
Yeah.
agree with that 100%.
From 10 to 5, crazy.
Yeah, no kidding.
I know. Everything else checks out.
Well,
but-
the Gunners that you mentioned, they lose. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's still watching Arsenal's worth watching anytime,
yeah.
which is why I have them pretty high up. Do I care about watching Burnley lose again? Not
No,
necessarily.
but it is like the storyline there will be if Burnley lose. How's Vincent Company looking, I guess?
I have Liverpool, Brentford at 4.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Could be a really fun game.
Nice loss to Toulouse yesterday, Europa League.
If you got Toulouse to someone,
Ah!
it's going to be Toulouse. Doesn't matter. They're going to get out of the group. They rested some players. Luis Diaz's dad, by the way, returned.
Yeah, really big congrats to Luis Diaz. For that.
Congrats
Getting
Congratulations,
him
your
back.
dad's back in town.
What do you say?
I don't know. I think you say thank
you?
Christ. Or do you don't say congratulations?
Well,
do
I
you?
didn't want to say like my condolences. Like, what do you
No,
say?
you don't say that. So, okay, so your dad's been kidnapped. It's
So you
been an
got him
awful
back.
saga
Oh, that's
for the family.
amazing!
Oh.
Congratulations.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, I guess. Like, congratulations as well. I mean, it's
He hasn't won anything.
I mean, listen, he won his dad back. But truly,
Hey,
it is.
it's ended well.
Friday.
it's ended well and no one's been hurt.
Yeah, no, truly. But
Allow the jokes to
12
begin.
days, and now he's with the police and you know doing all of that investigation. But yeah, really, really brutal. But I'm so happy for him. And after that goal he scored last week, and he dedicated to his dad. Like it is really nice. Hopefully his dad isn't too screwed up after all that. I hope
it can't be
he's
pleasant, right?
Yeah.
They found out like just before the match on Thursday that he'd been released and started the match amazingly.
Yeah.
But they still lost.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter though.
Yeah.
No McAllister. He's suspended for this one, of course. Brentford are back. They won 3 straight matches in the league.
They also should have won that 4th match against Manchester United when Scott
that's
McTominay
right,
came on.
Tommy.
That was a Brentford win in my eyes. So yeah, no, I'm
Tricky one.
happy. The bees
Tricky
are
match.
buzzing.
Tricky match though.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
For sure. Oh yeah. It's not going to be easy.
All right, 3. We've got 3 games left. So Wolves, Spurs, United, Luton, and Chelsea against Man City.
So I've gone United and Luton. I mean, these 3 are all must-watch TV in my mind.
Yeah,
But
I'll go with that too then.
yeah, I mean, I think I'm just a little bit more curious to watch Spurs without half their starting lineup. Because this is really the first time we're going to see the test for Tottenham. Whereas Man United, I can guarantee you this. Whether they win or lose, it's going to be miserable. It's going to be bad football, and they probably won't have deserved it. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter because they should win this game. They should win, and it's going to be a freaking penalty for Bruno Fernandes in the 87th minute after Luton put on a brilliant performance at Old Trafford. Do you know what I mean? Like, this game is just a bit more predictable, and it's also going to be, I think, worse football.
Yeah, or it could be 5-0.
For Luton?
No, for United. It's one of those weird ones for me. I think it's probably more likely to go your way. But I just, United, because
I'd love Luton to
they've
win
been
this
losing
match.
games 3 or 4, 9 or 16 overall. We know all the noise around United is discussed in the first block there. But they're not the worst team in the league, right? They're not a terrible football team. They're playing below expectations. There's a lot of problems there. But they're not going to be relegated. They're going to finish top half, probably by the end of the season, fighting for maybe Conference League, even Europa League football. So they're a better team than Luton. And Luton on the road, of course, is very different to Luton at home. So I can see it actually going United's way, obviously. But yeah, third most watchable game just because of the train wreck that United is. And Spurs-Wolves, we spoke about Spurs in the first block. This could be a really good game.
I think it's going to be a really
Could be a very dramatic game. And,
I think so as well. And Spurs have, you can't be picking up any more cards here right now. Like, you are at the last of your, resources. So
yeah, no, exactly. It's an intriguing game, that one, isn't it?
Very much so.
So we've got Chelsea, Man City.
You got to go with the big boys up front.
Let's see if maybe the most unconvincing 4-1 win we've ever seen on Monday will push Chelsea to greater heights.
City are going to smash them.
Yeah.
Yes, City are going to expose these guys for what they are. Listen, good for Chelsea getting that win. I guess if you're beating a 9-man Spurs, fine. But this is Manchester City. They don't mess around, and they also could play their bench and still beat them.
Yeah.
Let's not
get ourselves.
Sprinkle some on Holland to score. Come on. Let's not.
He looks fine now, doesn't he? Eh?
Yeah. It's
see the 2 goals he scored midweek. One's from the spot, I know, but the second one, ankle's just fine.
City on to the next round already. Only 6 out of 16 teams, through.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, Barcelona, by the way.
Oh.
What's going on there?
Miserable. We don't play well. I'll be quite honest. They're just not playing well. I don't know, really missing Frankie in the middle. But Shakhtar also is not an easy team. I think that's something we have to, I think they've
been... But to be dead last in the group.
Barca's not last. Are they Barca's first.
What?
But they're not qualified because Barca's first. We're tied with Shakhtar.
Oh,
sorry, we're tied with Porto for points, but we have a better goal differential.
Need to go look at this.
But the thing is, Shakhtar's only 2 points behind. So no one's qualified. It's going to be fight of the top 3. Right. So we got to go to we got to play Porto, which is going to be the most difficult game, and then Antwerp again.
You're right. They're not dead last.
No,
why the hell did I think
they are
that?
first.
I think I just bought into the narrative that they were so poor this week.
So you could do this on the pod, ladies and gentlemen.
I would never do that. Never.
Yeah, no. Champions League is going to be the last 2 match days of Champions League is going to be. Yeah. It's going to be crazy because I think only 2 groups have been determined. The rest, it's open.
Right.
Could be anyone. So, yeah, fun. But yes, Chelsea and City.
Yeah, okay, so there we have it. Top 10 from least watchable to most watchable. Number 10 sees Brighton, Sheffield United, followed closely by West Ham and Nottingham Forest. At 8, it's Crystal Palace, Everton, Villa, Fulham at 7. Bournemouth, Newcastle at 6. Into the top 5, just it's Arsenal against Burnley. We see Liverpool, Brentford at number 4. Into the top 3, third most watchable game to watch this weekend, Manchester United, Luton, Wolves, Spurs at 2, and number 1, Chelsea against Man City. Ooh. There you have it. All right, time for a break. When we come back, though, it's to 442picks.ca. Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win. Welcome to 442picks.ca, courtesy Room 442. James Sharman with Sarah Peraria. Albert Vatanian is still partying from last weekend's success. He bossed it last week, and he is now closing the gap somewhat on Sarah and myself, but it's still Peraria way out in front. But that could change this week, Sarah. Some tough games, another tough weekend. Sure. Maybe not quite as unpredictable as last weekend, but pretty tough. Where are you focusing your attention?
Going to keep my eyes on Spurs. We've had this little Spursy podcast today. And yeah, we know the injuries, like I've mentioned. Mickey Van de Ven, James Maddison gone until January. Romero suspended. Udogie suspended. Pedro Porro doubtful. against a Wolves side who, let's be honest, tied Newcastle, beat City, tied Aston Villa. We know Wolves can get results. Sorry, it's at the Molineux. This is Spurs' first test, and I'm very curious to see how they do. I'm going for the draw.
I love that pick. Me too. And Big Ange will rue the day that we bought into him at Spurs. No, he's still great. But all right, some big question marks there. I'm going to pick out Manchester United up against Luton. Listen, we know all the pressures on Erik Ten Hag as manager. You lose that one, Ten Hag's probably gone. 9 losses in 16 games through the past 4 games. There's so many issues there. But it's United, and they're not the worst team in the league. All the noise makes us feel that sometimes, but they're not in relegation trouble. They're going to finish in the top half. They're going to beat Luton at home, surely. If not, see ya. See ya, Erik. Join us, 442picks.ca. It's free to play. It's a brand new month. Tons of money available, including potentially $250,000. Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win.